Go? Okay. I'm John Bell. My company is Morning Glory Woodworking. I started making these about 3 years ago. I've been working with wood almost all my life. I've always played a musical instrument, usually guitar. I've always liked art. So when I saw one of these, I couldn't resist building one. I lived in a place with no cigar boxes, so I made the box, made the guitar, played it, said, wow, this sounds pretty good. Posted it on a Facebook feed, a little 60-second clip of me playing this guitar I'd made, and somebody messaged me, said they wanted one too, so could I build them one? So of course I said yes. After that, while I was building it, another post came up saying there was a music festival happening somewhere, so I got in touch with them, said could I come and vend there, and they gave me a price for vending, and I said I build cigar box guitars because, you know, I built 1.5. I built a bunch for there, a few for there. I built 5 or 6. Took them there. The show was a bust, but I sold one of them. Everybody told me I should go to this other music festival that comes on every year up in Ness Creek, northern Saskatchewan. And I took 14 up there, sold 12, got 2 custom orders. That's like I sold them all. So I kept playing. I mean, I like the sound of them. They're really easy to play. They're fun to play. They're fun to build. I get to do the artistic, creative part of building that I enjoy, and then I get to enjoy the music part of it I enjoy. So it's like a perfect fit. And then music festivals are just a great place to be. I mean, everybody's here for a good time. They're not just being hammered and drunk. They're just having a good time. So I have a good time. They have a good time. I meet a lot of people. They meet me. And a lot of them go away with guitars and have a good time with them for a long time, I hope. Learn to play guitar for a lot of them.
And how did you come up with the designs? Because I see you got a manager that likes this design.
Everything I look at now is potential fodder. If I see a design or I see a thing, there's trivets. I used to make what they call Japanese Tansu hardware boxes, which are just full of tons of black enamel hardware. There's pieces that go into a guitar before you know it. A belt buckle, a comic book page, anything I see is potentially, it could be there, you know, if I can see it. And my wife happens to be a garage sale and thrift store junkie, so all I have to do is say, you know, if you could find me a dish drainer, it'll come home.
And what kind of wood do you use with locally?
I use found wood. I've got a neighbor's wood flooring here, oak flooring. I've got tables that were wrecked for tables, but they were still wood. I do buy wood too. I cut my own wood, Manitoba maple or people's fruit trees from their yards. Wherever I go, I'm always willing to take down trees or, you know, anything I can do to get wood. Wood's expensive stuff. Even when you get it free, it's expensive stuff. You have to go get it. You have to cut it down.
And I noticed you even got an oar over here. Now, is that going to be playing different than the cigar box controls, that oar?
Yeah, what about it?
Like, is that going to play different tunes versus
Oh, yeah.
the cigar box?
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, these things will actually play anything. It's a simpler instrument, but I mean, you've got the same 12-note octave. You know, so they'll play anything, and you've got enough strings to make a bass line and a treble line, so you can play anything you want. You can play any style you want. They tend to be more popular with people that play old-time blues, old-time country, you know, backwoods, back porch, Appalachian type things, old-time folk. That's where they tend to be. But I've seen guys play classical stuff on them. I've seen guys play heavy metal rock on them. There is no end to what you can do with it.
So have you actually had professional musicians notice your guitars? Like somebody maybe
Well,
well-known?
the guy that bought, no, I have no well-known. But the guy that bought it, the one first thing this morning, is in a band down in Esteban. He picked it up and said that he's, you know, going to get it going. So, because I told him to keep in touch. I like to know where they go, you know.
And I was kind of wondering, I was asking your wife about, have you done any sales online, or would you ship to other countries? Apparently you don't do that. It's more local.
I avoid it just because of the price of shipping. You know, if you're looking at a $300 guitar and it costs you $200 to get it there, it's, you know, it's up to you. I'll do, you know, you get in touch with me. I have a Facebook page on Morning Glory Woodworking. I have Instagram now. My daughter wired me into Instagram this morning. And if you get in touch with me and you know what you want, or you want something you've seen on my Facebook page, and then I can find out what it costs to send it, and I'll send it. But it's not a specialty of mine. I mean, I don't run an online business. You know, I don't want to. If I do that, then I have to really honestly keep up a page, and that takes away from me doing what I like doing.
And so are the cigar boxes easy to find, or do you have to really dig for cigar boxes?
I tend to. You have to dig. Yeah. You have to go to all cigar stores you're liable to be near. Secondhand stores, because sometimes they get them in. They have to have a certain minimum volume to them, and it's nice if you can find really old ones. But sometimes a lot of the really old ones are cardboard, which has the tonality and strength of absolutely nothing. So they're not worth much to me. You know, they might be worth serious money to someone else. And then there are collectors too, which means, you know, and I can't pay a lot for a cigar box unless, you know, you're going to pay for my stick of wood with the cigar box on it an awful lot of money.
And I noticed you had one that was looked electric, that it's opened up.
Yeah, it's gone. Sold it last night. Last thing last night.
Guitars then too. Like, electrical.
Oh yeah, I make electric guitars. All normally for me they're pizzos, either rod pizzos or disc pizzos with sometimes with or without a preamp. A word has slipped me. It's a passive preamp, that's what they're called, which helps the tonality quite a bit. Because pizzos can be a little tinny. You can wire them with a regular electric guitar, single wound, 3-string pickup or a 4-string pickup if it's a 4-string. And yeah, the license plate there that you were talking about earlier, that's an electric. It's got a rod piezo in it. And then just back from that yellow guy has got a disc piezo in it with a pickup in it, with a volume control on it. I don't know what else is electric up front here right now. All the way back around here is that black guy has got the Bullneck. Bullneck has a passive amp in it, so you get a tone and volume control. It'll have a rod piezo in it. They sound pretty good. And they're easy, really easy to play. You don't really have to know anything. Hardest part about learning to play guitar is learning how to play chords, finger shapes, which requires you learning it and then picking up that muscle memory so that you can do it instantly, so you can change from chord A to chord B. That with these, they're tuned to a GBG. So it's a power chord. It's not really a chord. It's a power chord, but you can play the whole thing with a single finger bar chord. So you're not learning. What you have to learn, which is the most part of most songs, as far as I'm concerned, is you got to learn a rhythm. You got to learn to keep a rhythm. You got to create a feeling. You want people to move. Most music is made to feel like either you're tapping your toe or you're dancing or you're something. And so you have to be able to make people want to do that. So you have that hand that for most right-handed people is the hand that's better trained to start with, for fine work even, is the hand you get to strum with. And that's what you have to learn how to do. The other hand doesn't have to learn a lot. It can learn how to just bar and move from chord to chord by sliding up and down the neck. So all you have to learn is where the key is. Or you can finger note, you can single note with a single finger. You can leave your bass note as a drum, just keep it hammering away and sliding that one finger up and down notes. And it's really hard to make something that sounds bad. Now, if you're trying to play a specific song, you have to hit the right notes. But if you just want to make sound that sounds like music and sounds like a song, you can just keep on boogieing around with it, and it doesn't require any skill. And usually that's what I recommend people do. Just get used to when your fingers hear, you hear it, you learn what that sound sounds like, you learn when you're there, this is what sound I make. And you get to just keep goofing around on that, and at some point you will start to realize that you can actually, pick out Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's what making music is. You shouldn't really have to go take lessons, you really shouldn't have to read a book or go on YouTube or all that other stuff. You will, because it's irresistible. It speeds you up. But it's really nice to train your ear. If you can train your ear to follow your hand, then you've done what your throat has done naturally growing up. Most people know how to make specific noises out of their throat. You can do the same thing with your hand, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be that automatic.
So you've actually played regular guitar for your life too?
Well, yeah. I'm not a great guitarist, or a good guitarist even. I'm not even sure I'm a good guitarist. But I've played all my life. It's been a good friend for me. Music has always been a good friend for me. You have a bad day, you go home, you sit around, you play some down and lonely and really miserable blues. That somewhere in your mind, if you've really studied old blues guys, you know that these guys had it. Whatever your day was like. I used to live in Vancouver. I'm down in the West End. I'm walking by the A&W parking lot. There's two guys out front playing blues. One's blind, one's a cripple. One had polio when he was out. Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee are sitting playing because the NDP party paid them to go. Man. So you picture these two guys when they were 20s. Blind, and one can't see where he's going and the other one can't get there very good, hopping freights. Picture that. I mean, that's hard. That's hard. And nobody's paying them big bucks back then. It's, put down your hat and pick up some dimes. Wow. So yeah, got me through a lot of times, because everybody has hard times.
So what kind of price ranges would your guitars be, and is it based upon the type of wood or the sophistication of it?
It's a really complicated pricing system.
Or is it the size maybe?
It's none of the above. There's a whole bunch of things, yeah.
Okay.
The basic guitar is a cigar box. That one right there. That's your basic. That's Belinda, I think it's her name is.
The white one?
Yeah.
That's a basic.
Yeah, it is Belinda. It's got no fretboard on it. It's just a cigar box, so that's a $5 box with a $5 stick with $5 tuners and $5 strings. So that's $20 worth of material, and I put it together. And it's easy to put together. Now it's worth more than another box that has no fret. It's that same box, that same everything, but the neck has no wood bearing on it, isn't worth as much. If I spend some time doing something and make it look better, then it's worth more. The orange one down there is almost the same box. I mean, it's a different make of cigar and everything, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's almost exactly the same guitar. Only it's got some nice wood burning on the neck. The neck frets are much better, and for some reason, best known to the gods of cigar boxes and sticks, it sounds better. So to me, that's worth some more money. Because I pretty much spent the same amount of time on both of them, but it sounds better, so it's worth some more money. Now, as soon as I put a fretboard on it, that same guitar, which is the one in the middle there, Romeo and Julieta, that white one there. That's got a fretboard on it. Then I charge more because I'm working again. Now I don't charge a lot more because if you take your guitar in and get it refretted, it's about 180 bucks. I can't, which is more than that whole guitar's worth. That one's got a 4-string on it too, so that's some more money. But it doesn't, it's not a real dazzle machine, so it's not much more than the last one we were talking about before that. As soon as I start making boxes myself and deciding what the box is going to look like, then we get into what did I make the box out of? What brilliant idea did I come up with? How complicated was my brilliant idea? How long will that take me? How does it look when I'm done? Because no matter how much time I spend on it, if it still looks like a piece of garbage, I still can't charge a lot of money for it, although I've been fooled, but I think it looks like a piece of garbage. Sometimes what I'm trying to make something look like a certain thing, and it doesn't get there, then I feel like it's a failure, right? But the next guy comes along, he looks at it and says, but I tend to price them lower because to me it's a failure. But yeah, so more complicated, better success, and then always, you know, if it really sounds good, it's worth more. If it really plays well, it's worth more. If it really plays well, if it looks good, plays well, has great action, sounds really good, everything about it says, wow, that gets into the $30, 300, and you know, my price goes up again. I shouldn't tell you my prices because you know.
And with the designs, do you do the designs on paper first and look at the design, or do you sort of just get into the design as you go?
Sometimes.
With the tree over there.
The tree was a freehander right on the box.
Oh, because you did that right on.
Right on the box, because I don't have to worry about it coming out symmetrically. You know, if I'm making like those holes over there, those sound holes in that one, both sides got to look pretty close to the same. They don't come out the same. I had a guy give me a really nice compliment yesterday. He said to me, oh, the Smart Dressed Man, oh, I see you've got a CNC machine, he said. And I had to tell him, not in your life. And actually, if you look at those two guys, they're not identical. So if I had a C machine, they would have been. But you know, I want them pretty close. So I'll draw those out on paper so I can transfer it over to the wood. But if it doesn't have to be symmetrical, then I won't. And I'm putting more things on paper too, because I can make a stencil. And if anybody asks for it again, I don't have to start from scratch. Because you know, you'll make that design, and you'll say it's too small. Or it's, you know, it doesn't. Once I get it to the box, it's not right. You know, or it's just totally wrong. So you end up fiddling. So if you finally got it, why throw it away, right? And I do have photographic records, but it's not the same as having full-size pattern, bang. This size block, this size pattern, that works. Don't mess with it. Take it home, keep it. So yeah, it's sometimes paper, but you know, like I mean, I'm not going to draw that sun on a piece of paper and keep stencil on it because I'm pretty sure I can draw another sun.
And did you put any kind of coating or finish on them?
Oh yeah, they are all are lacquered. They're all lacquered. All the Diddley boxes, the ones that I make the boxes for, named after Bo Diddley, who named himself after the Diddley bow, which is a one string and a stick musical instrument that all guys started off in the South. Almost all the old blues players, you know, they started off with a Diddley bow. So they all have like about 8 coats of lacquer on them. The cigar boxes, I put about 3 or 4. Just there's a can of lacquer on each of these guitars that I make from scratch, and then there's about a half a can, a third of a can on. Just protects them, and then afterwards you can wax them if you so choose. Fretboards are oiled. I oil them with a mixture of a petroleum wax and mineral oil. But that's because it's the first go and it'll last a long time. Because I don't want to be, they sit out in the sun here. If it was just oil, they'd dry right out. And I'd be re-oiling them every day. You can just, once you've bought it, if it starts to look dry, a little mineral oil. You can buy specifically made for fretboard guitars, fretboard oil. But it's probably mineral oil in a new bottle for twice the price. So.
And what about the strings? Are they high quality strings?
Strings, these are all CF Martin, 80-20 bronze phosphorus, medium gauge, 13 gauge would be the gauge of the high E string, the number 1 string. I don't use the number 1 string, I also don't use the number 6 string. They're all using, these are all tuned G to G, G in the second octave, the other G and the D in the third octave. They're all medium gauge. You use the A, D, and G out of your regular set of guitar strings. You tune your A down to the G. The other two stay the same as you would tune them on a guitar. Once you're in tune there, there's just easily. Now you can change that tuning. You can change those strings, and you can experiment a lot. For people that play them and people that play them a lot and people that make them, the thing with cigar boxes, it's called no rules cigar box guitars. There are rules. There's some things that are just, you can break the rule, but you'll not make a great guitar. But like always, the gear on the post that the wire runs around should be closer because the wire pulls the gear into the other gear that turns it. If you do it the other way around, it pulls it away, strips the gears, you got nothing. So there are rules, several. Frets have to be the right distances apart or you've got something that won't play music. But mostly it's sort of like what I was saying about you can play them just having fun, you can build them just having fun too.
Speaking about building, how long would it take the average to build a guitar?
For just a straightforward, you know exactly what you're going to do. You've already got the parts and everything all lined up, and you've got the stick already the right size and everything. You can do that in 5 or 6 hours easy.
Oh, okay.
You could build it with hand tools in a day.
The more complicated ones.
All my other ones, my diddly boxes, I have a really hard time saying how long it takes. They seem to average 3 days each. A good amount of that time is spent, fiddling around, deciding what keys you're gonna put on it, what color. Sometimes I use bronze frets, sometimes I use nickel. Mostly I use nickel. They're harder and last longer. But sometimes the bronze just looks better. And it's not like they're going to wear out in a week or anything. You're still looking at several years of play and pretty steady play. So I say to everybody it takes an average of 3 days to build it, but that's with me starting with I've already taken rough lumber, turned it into 1/4 inch thick by 2 inch thick stuff for all my fretboards. I've already taken stuff that's 1/4 inch thick by various widths for my sides and ends of the body. My faces of my body just get down to between an 8, 3/32, somewhere in there. So that's already been milled. I mill all that ahead of time. I know I'm going to have to be there sooner or later. I mill all the lumber for my necks and everything ahead of time, so that I don't have to keep switching processes all the time. I've got the wood. I can just go and say what fret will I use and pick one out. What wood will I use for what fret? So I have to have things set up. So that's 3 days after I've already got my wood ready to run. So it's probably more than that. On the other hand, if you knew exactly you were going to build that guitar and you had all those pieces, you could probably do that in 2 days. A certain amount of standing around waiting for glue to dry stuff and stuff like that. But you could probably do it in 2 days, just because everything's already there. But everything isn't already. Most of these, the fronts are made of 2 pieces of wood, an 1/8 of an inch thick. I got to glue the 2 of them together flat, and so there's process. I did it one day. I wrote the whole thing out. It's like a 46-step process. And you know, is it easy to do? Yeah. If you know the 46 steps and you do each step one at a time in the right order, it's like most things in life, you know? If you do the right things in the right order, it's a snap. You have to know what the right things are and you have to know what the order is.
And being that you're from a small town, I guess you have to import all of these parts and supplies?
All the tuners are brought in from, most of them are out of China. Now you can buy them from the States for more money, but I know where they're getting them from too, same place. It's not like there's no factory down in the States making tuners, so it doesn't matter what anybody says. Now there are high-end tuners. I used to have Grover tuners on one of my fancy little parlor model guitars. I got Grover heads put on back when I was 19 or something. And I think now they're around $50 a tuner, so that's just not happening. Now, if you want a custom guitar and you want Grover, not a problem. You can even go just buy them and bring them in to me and I'll stick them on, and it won't cost you any more. And I don't really put a markup on what I buy. What I have to buy though, the only things I really have to buy that are specific to guitars, frets, absolutely no way to make those. I mean, there are. People glue in nails, but I can just, see nails popping off, and if I make it, I want you to be able to play it forever. So I buy frets, I buy nut material, I buy bone that I have to carve and shape and sand and stuff. I buy my tuners, and I buy some bridge material sometimes. And occasionally I'll buy some ebony to use for bridge material. But it's still just, again, it's just wood. I still got to make it into something. But that's all I'll buy. That's specific. After that, it's nuts and bolts and things I can find. And most of them I buy as cheap as I can get them for. And some people think if it's cheap stuff, then, it should be a cheap guitar. But you can buy me pine, and you can buy me mahogany, and the pine's $6 a board foot, and the mahogany's $18 a board foot. And I build you a chair out of it. Most of the price of the chair is me building chair, because it's only $40 worth of wood. And you're gonna be, if I'm custom making you a chair, it's $200. So you might as well make yourself a mahogany chair. Get yourself a mahogany chair made, and that's what you want.
Are we finished filming?
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for talking with us, and good luck.
You're
with
welcome.
Business.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Have a great time.